Hello and welcome to another video. So you've been back to this same spot 10 times this month. You pride yourself on that dedication, waiting days, months or even years for that one perfect shot, just like the pros you see online. But while you're waiting for the perfect clouds or the perfect light, something else is happening. You're developing a habit that's actually killing your creativity. In your heart of hearts, you know that you're missing potentially incredible shots right in front of you because you're too busy looking for the one. And today we're going to break that cycle. So you're walking through a picturesque landscape with your camera in your hand. Then something catches your eye, a shape, a shadow, or a patch of light. And then you react to that moment and you lift up your camera, and then your conscious thought gets in the way and you start asking yourself the wrong questions. Is this scene actually interesting? Is the composition strong enough? Is the light good enough? And is this even worth stopping for? And while you're busy answering those questions, the moment changes, the light disappears, or whatever caught your attention simply isn't there anymore. Or even worse, you just lose confidence. So you lower the camera and you walk on, and it's an opportunity missed. And you don't do that because there wasn't a photograph in the first place. You do it because you talked yourself out of taking the photo. And a lot of photographers think they're missing photos because of their camera or the weather, or because they're not standing in some incredible location. But I don't think that's the real problem. I think this is the real problem. I think in that moment where we start asking whether a photo is good enough, we've already stopped looking. So now you might be thinking, well, it's just because I'm a slow photographer, or I just don't have the photographer's eye yet. But that's not it. You're not bad at this. You're just caught up in a psychological trap. Part of the problem is that in the back of your mind, you've convinced yourself that every time you press the shutter, the result needs to be unique. It needs to be meaningful, and it needs to be portfolio worthy. So when you see something really simple, there's a risk of rejecting it. You think that's too simple to be a masterpiece, or that doesn't match what I've seen online, what I admire online. So you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and that leads to another trap, the fear of bad photographs. Because we hate failure. We don't want to look at what we've taken and just see 100 boring shots. But here's a little secret. The first photograph that you take on a photo shoot is almost never going to be the photograph. And I think we'd all agree with that. So if you're going to apply that principle to your first photo, then why not apply it to all of your photos? Because if you're not taking bad photos, then you're going to be less likely to ever get the good or great ones. And so moving on from all of that, there's also this thing where it's almost like the more you learn, the harder this all gets because you start to think too much. You might see an isolated tree, which you could just snap and see what happens later. But then it's almost like you start a technical audit on what you're doing. Is this photo original? Is the composition too centered? Is the light directional enough, soft enough, warm enough? Are the shadows too harsh? And you're doing that before you even take the photo. And it's almost like you have too much knowledge swimming around and it starts to block you creatively. So you risk losing the ability and willingness to experiment when you're out taking photos. So how do we break the trap? How do we stop the hesitation before it kills a moment? Well, it starts by changing the very first question you ask yourself. So never ever ask yourself, is this a good photograph? Because when you ask if a photo is good, you're inviting the critic back into the room and you're looking for a result. So instead, I want you to replace that question with this one. Why did I notice this? And that is the birth of your photographic instinct. So just think about it for a moment. Out of everything in the world, your brain, your instinct, your inner voice has chosen to stop in one particular place. Why? Well, don't argue with that. Just accept it and go with it. Your job is not to decide if it's a masterpiece. Your job is to be a kind of detective in that moment. You found a clue, something caught your eye, and now you have to investigate why. And most other people, myself included, would just walk past what made you stop. But something made you stop, and that something is exactly where the photograph is. That's your next photo. So stop worrying about the good and start focusing on the why, because once you find out the why, the good is going to take care of itself. Now that we've changed the question, we need to change the action. I've developed 3 non-negotiable rules to help you get out of your own way when you're taking photos. So rule number 1, photograph before you judge. So the moment that you feel that spark of interest, hit the shutter. Don't worry too much about camera settings yet, and definitely don't worry about the value of what you're doing. You're not deciding if it's art, you're just capturing a feeling or an idea. You can be a critic when you're back at home on your computer. But for now, let's just collect those photos. So rule number 2, take the obvious photographs. There is this weird guilt in photography that if someone else has already shot it, or if it's too simple, then it's a failure. Well, forget that. It's okay to shoot the famous landmark. It's okay to shoot the common subject. Your job isn't to be original every time you go out. Not in terms of subject matter. It's to understand what attracted you to that particular scene. If you feel it, then you shoot it. So rule number 3, create variations. Instead of hunting for that one perfect composition, I want you to treat the scene like a playground. Move closer and then move further away. Go left, go right, get low enough to get dirt on your knees, and then get as high as you can. And you don't have to do all of those things all at once, but just be flexible, free your mind, and just go and have a wander. And then change your focal length. Change the relationship between the foreground and background. Because composition isn't something that you find by standing still and thinking hard. It's something that develops through movement. You don't think your way to a great photo. You move around and the photo will find you. Now, everything that we've talked about today kind of leads to this, but I also think this is one part that a lot of photographers skip. And I think it can really slow down your improvement if you do skip this next section. So once you get home and you're looking at those variations that we talked about earlier, a lot of people might go through and delete the bad ones while asking themselves, is this one any good? Well, I personally never delete a single photo because what I ignore today, I may look at in the future and feel completely different about it. And that's a learning curve in itself. So, just for fun, let me know in the comments below if you are a deleter of images or a hoarder like me. So now look back through your images, including the ones that didn't quite work, and identify the exact moment that you were actually motivated to take the photo. What were you reacting to? Was it the light or the geometry, some colors or whatever? And when you do this, you're not just editing your photos, you're training your brain, you're identifying your own natural instincts. And by the time you go out for your next photo shoot, you won't have to think about composition so much. And those changes over time will be incremental. So the more you do it, the better you're going to become. But your brain will start to work out what it's looking for because you're now teaching it what you actually care about. So this isn't just a review process so much, it's how you build your own unique voice as a photographer. So here's the thing, when you start shooting this way, something amazing is going to happen, and it has nothing to do with your portfolio. You're going to start relaxing into your photography, developing your own style, and you'll start enjoying photography all over again. When you stop treating every shutter click like an exam or a competition, the pressure just evaporates. You're going to notice much more of the world. You're going to start to experiment with things that maybe you used to think were silly. And you learn faster because you're actually doing stuff rather than just thinking about stuff. So now you're going to be firing on all cylinders with your photography. So check out this video here and learn why symmetry is every photographer's very best friend.